Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero, and today we're going to be talking about Marvel and Pfizer apparently teaming up for a jab advocacy with the Avengers, because that's exactly what we want to see when we watch, when we read, about the Avengers. We want to see them, talk about real life modern politics and garbage like this, because people actually think we care about this. I don't care. It's like personal medical choice. I don't understand why. Yeah, actually, I do understand why. It's propaganda garbage that they're trying to spit to little kids and all this other nonsense they're doing with Marvel. That's why no one's reading your comics. That's why no one's fucking watching this trash. And that's why everybody's enjoying the Rippaverse and not this garbage, because this is what this is. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. We read superheroes to do superhero stuff. We don't read superheroes for this agenda that they're pushing with superheroes. This is trash. But we're going to read this article from Bounty in the Comics. Marvel and Pfizer team up for jab advocacy starring the Avengers. And by the way, this artwork looks like shit. In Marvel's latest corporate promotional collaboration, Pfizer has commissioned the comic book publisher to publish a pro-jab advocacy story wherein the Avengers' efforts to save the world from one of their arch foes are equated to individuals keeping up to date on their shots and boosters. You can see this trash advertisement no one cares about. Unveiled by the biotech company on October 4th, Avengers' everyday hero centers on an unnamed family who, while waiting in the waiting room of a jab clinic, receive word via television broadcast that the super team's longtime foe Ultron is wreaking havoc not 6 blocks away. Here's a Twitter post talking about it. This artwork looks like dog shit. If you want good artwork, back to Webberverse. Upon hearing the news, the Paul Allor penned, Paco Diaz illustrated, trash, both should be fired. Story turns to the family's oldest son, who finds himself worried about that the sentient AI could pose a threat to their safety. Don't worry, his little sister attempts to reassure, Captain Marvel will protect us. Yeah, Captain Marvel's a garbage hero that no one gives a shit about. No one gives a shit. This is the comic strip here. Nobody gives a shit about Captain Marvel. It was a dog shit film. She's a dog shit character. They cared about Captain Marvel when she was Miss Marvel, not when she's Captain Marvel. They cared about Marvel. People who read comics cared about Marvel. That's right, exclaims their grandfather, turning their draw to a parallel between Ultron and the jab. They're the Koof. Sorry, the Koof. Just like the Avengers have done so many times before, Ultron keeps coming back, keeps changing and evolving. So the Avengers keep adapting, re-strategizing, they knock him back again and again. First time Ultron showed up, we had never seen anything like him before. This is comic strip. Again, the artwork looks like dog shit. Back then, people didn't know much about Ultron, did they? Asked the family's patriarch to his own father. Continuing the comics didn't reveal the analogy. At first, people weren't prepared, and then he just wreaked havoc on our lives. Well, you're right, confirms the grandfather. The Avengers had to figure out how to face him. They relied on decades of experience along with new innovations. They used their combined strength to defend us. Bunch of people wearing masks because, again, it's a political agenda garbage that they're pushing. Asked by his grandson, and they use new tools to help. The elderly man makes reference to Vision, noting another robot the first time, and it was working for a while. And then he has joined the synthezoid into his analogy. Then Ultron got a step ahead again. More from the comic. As the battle continues to rage on in an effort to reassure his family, the grandfather continues to regale them with stories of the Avengers' past victories over Voltron's eventually Iron-Man puts it into the situation with an ionized energy cannon. Grandpa, how did you know what happened? Because I know them, he asserts in her, and I've seen their pattern so many times before. Ultron evolves, the Avengers gather information, take time to innovate and adapt, and then they figure out how to fight it, putting together their existing knowledge and research along with the information they've learned. More propaganda. Just then, the Avengers, returning triumphant from their clash of Ultron, pass by the grandfather's rooms, which Iron Man acknowledges the man and compliments him his retirement. His family shocked. He revealed he was once a member of Damage Control, and as such regularly found himself working side by side with the Avengers in the aftermath of the many fights. By the way, this is a terrible comic. This story is awful. And that's how I know that we can fight back against even tougher evolving enemies if we're willing to adapt, fight back, and take steps to protect yourself, says the man as he winds down the corporate-sponsored PSA. It's also important for entire communities to come together and help fight the threat. As the nurse appears to call back the family for their jabs, grandfather concludes the Avengers are doing their part to keep us safe. Now it's time to do ours by staying up to date with our jabs. Because again, this is what people definitely want to read in comics. They don't want to read, Captain America taking on Nazis and and Black Widow being a super spy and looking hot. No, we want to read about real world politics, apparently, according to Marvel, because they're so dumb and they want to destroy the greatest brand, one of the greatest brands ever made by the great Stan Lee, R.I.P. Greatest man, born and raised in the Bronx, from New York. Spider-Man, the greatest Marvel hero ever created. And now we get Peter Darker. Since the comics publication, Pfizer's official Twitter account has taken its hiding all negative replies. Of course they have, because they can never take criticism, and they can always put out garbage like they always do. Notably, this is not the first jab advocacy comic for its Marvel commission. Last year, the publisher worked with the New York-based physician network almost community care for Avengers. We are resilient. Its message roughly similar to the one found in Pfizer's issue. Because again, they're just going to continue to spit the same narrative over and over and try to brainwash people and try to convert them and manipulate them and indoctrinate them to believe all the garbage that are put out by the mainstream. Because, you know, that's what they have to do in order to gain control of people's minds. And because most time, people can't think for themselves, and they read garbage like this and they think, oh, this is all good, it's all good because the superheroes are doing it. Oh my God, let's give it to kids, you know. No. Throw this garbage away. Get a real comic book. This is a real comic book. This is what comic books used to be before they made trash like that they were showing in Marvel. This is what comics used to be. Great story, great artwork, and not shoving politics down your throat. This is what comics used to look like. And this looks 1,000 times better than anything Marvel or DC or any comic book company right now is making, because this comes from a place where people love what they do. They love the industry. They love the American comic book, and they want to put out a great product instead of preaching to the people and calling them pieces of garbage because they don't have the same politics or anything, you know, following the mainstream. Back this comic book. Go to the store if you haven't bought a comic yet. Your comic will not be shipping until November, but at least you'll get a comic book that isn't making you feel like you're a piece of crap and you have the wrong opinions. But that's my rant for now. Thank you guys for checking this video. I appreciate it. I hope you guys like it. Comment below what you think. Subscribe for more content. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.